Welcome to another edition of Yeehaw or Yeena, where I listen to new country singles and say whether I think they're good, whether I think they're bad, or, some gradient in between. Gradient. What a word. I try to do these about once a month, but because of the year-end videos back in December, we didn't really get to do one there. So you're going to have two in pretty quick succession here. Maybe one video will be in between them, but they're not going to be as spread out as usual. This time, I'll focus on some of the stuff from the end of 2022. Next time, we'll do some of the stuff from this first month of 2023. And the first yeehaw of the video goes to today's sponsor, which is SeatGeek. It's a new year with new music, and that means all your favorites are going on the road again, and that means you can get $20 off your tickets with the promo code GradySmith. SeatGeek is a ticketing app that makes ticket buying super simple. I've got the app on my phone, and it's the easiest way to buy tickets. The app has concerts, sporting events, festivals, and so much more, and it puts all those tickets in one place. Y'all might have seen I am a recent convert to being a hockey fan after seeing a Predators game with my Canadian friend Evan. And it's so easy to find tickets in the app. I could also go over to the concert section and see oh look, here's Noah Kahan, here's Luke Combs, here's Carrie Underwood. There's so many concerts you can find tickets to easily. So whether you're a fan of Broadway girls in the Morgan Wallen sense, or you are more of a literal Broadway girl and want to go see a production of Aladdin, you can find tickets on SeatGeek. All their tickets are backed by a buyer guarantee, and you can even return them ahead of the event using swaps. You can use code GradySmith to get $20 off your first order at SeatGeek. That's $20 off tickets at SeatGeek, so be sure to go to the description, click the link, and download the app. So thanks to them for sponsoring the video, and now let's get to the songs. First up is Stoned by Parker McCollum.
Cry when it's raining. Cry when it's dark.
If you saw the hit songs of 2022 video, you saw that Parker McCollum's Handle on You was my favorite hit song of the year, and with Stoned, I think he has another great entry on his hands. Parker's just really in the pocket with good music right now, and this one thrives because of its simplicity. Whereas every other song about marijuana has kind of kitschy references to clouds and green and Colorado, I've lately found myself a little bit allergic to these songs that are kind of overwritten to the hook. And maybe it's just because I listened to the Hardy album and I feel like there's one too many of those. This one doesn't really belabor all of the weediness of it. It's more about the loneliness that Parker is feeling. I cry when it's raining. I cry when it's dark. He wonders if anyone will understand his heart. He feels alone, and that's why he gets stoned. I think this showcases that more plaintive Parker McCollum vocal really well. It's pretty simple rock guitars behind this song, and I just think it all works. So I give it a simple, nice yeehaw. Then let's talk about Elle King's Jersey Giant. For a few months last year, Tyler Childers' old demo of his song Jersey Giant was absolutely blowing up on TikTok, and everyone was asking him to release it officially as a song. We don't know exactly why Tyler Childers won't do that, but people have kind of put together that he seems to have written this before he met his current wife, Senora May, and he was in a very different phase of his life, especially with substance abuse, and maybe he doesn't want to put that song out right now. And even though there's tons of covers of this song out there, Tyler gave the official blessing to Elle King, who he's also touring with, to release Jersey Giant, and I guess this makes it kind of the official cover. And for the most part, I think this is a lovely rendition. It's a song about going on a drive to meet this lover, and those magical moments of in the summertime, playing songs and singing with your duet partner and just wanting to be together. I mean, it's really a song about young love and even nostalgia. The lyrics talk about those nights of reckless glory and how if this lover would just make that call, Tyler, or in this case now Elle King, would just be on the road in a second. It's definitely hard to separate the expectation of what the song would sound like from what it does sound like, because Elle's is a much more pensive and reflective version. It's way softer in how it's delivered, and it doesn't have that raw immediacy of early Tyler Childers. I think notably, it's interesting to look at the streams for this song versus the totally independently released one from this guy named Evan Honer.
Looking back at all the memories.
And even the streams of Josiah and the Bonnevilles, they've both done pretty notable TikTok covers, and in Evan's case, it was released a month later than Elle's. She obviously has major label support, and yet his is only 1 million streams behind hers, and I would imagine it overtakes it at some point. And so I bet people really want that kind of raw Childers sound, but as it stands, the song is so good that I'm still going to give Elle a light yeehaw. It's just a different thing. While I'm talking about Elle, why don't I just mention her song Tulsa?
You went back to Tulsa. Put some miles on that
Talking about a little bit more of an in-your-face feeling song, this definitely has that spunk, that rock energy that I would expect from the singer of X's and O's or Drunk and I Don't Want to Go Home, and I think this really works. It's also cool to see that Ella Langley is one of the co-writers on here because I think she has kind of a similar edge in her music as Elle does. And that one's just kind of a raucous barn stomper, and I like that it is sort of the exact opposite message of Jersey Giant. In this case, the dude drives away from her back to Tulsa, and she's like, he probably thinks I'm suffering, but I'm not at all. I mean, it's truly the other side of the coin. And I think it totally works. It's totally fun. And that's a more full-throated yeehaw. Then we have Shania Twain's new song, Giddy Up. I don't like this song at all. To me, it's unsubstantive and feels only appropriate for like an Old Navy commercial. It's just like a pure sugar rush, very Vegas-y, and I don't like the way Shania's vocals sound. I know the whole backstory of them, everybody. Whenever you say anything bad about Shania, it's weird. She has become one of those celebrities that I feel like a new generation just adopts and decides that they've always loved this person, they're always gonna stand them. It's almost like when everyone decided that they'd loved Betty White or Mr. Rogers their whole life. Or I don't know, it happens a little bit with Dolly. Sometimes these people get brought their flowers late in life and the next generation gets highly protective of them. And these people become sacred cows, and it's just sometimes annoying to say anything critical about them. But I would say that, like, even if Shania had some major health struggles, I don't think where the voice ended up is something especially appealing. Smiles for miles, all up on my face. And I'm sorry, but I'm never gonna love Drunk in the City, got a litty in the cup, up and you're giddy up. When we get stuck, got a little love, it's up and you're giddy up, giddy up. Gotta make it happen because it feels so good. Singing in the mirror like it's Hollywood. Life is getting shorter, gotta drink it up. Time to shine like you know you should. Slide to the left, then slide to the right. Jump in the air till you're 10 feet high. Come on, make a jump. Smiles for miles, all upon my face. Wear it, share it, because we ain't got time to waste. Up and you're giddy up, giddy, giddy up. Up and you're giddy up. It's just getting a yee nah. After that, let's talk about Larry Fleet featuring Mike Ryan on the song Quittin' Ain't Workin'. I've been working on quitting, but the quitting ain't working no more. This is a straight down the middle, traditional country, hearty, fun song. Like if you love the sound of Randall King, if you like that Drake Milligan album, man, you are gonna like this. I also love to see that bridge between a Nashville guy like Larry Fleet and a Texas legend like Mike Ryan on a song together. And it has that really fun, fast-paced, honky-tonk sound, a little bit of those brushed drums, a little bit of that noodling on the guitar and bass, and even some organ in there gives it just a little bit of soul. I love a sad lyric tear in my beer set against a really happy beat. All around, it just works. It's just like a fun song. It could be on one of those Hold My Beer albums by Randy Rogers and Wade Bowen. I really like it. Yeehaw. While we're out west, let's talk about the first single from Yellowstone actor Luke Grimes, which is called No Horse to Ride. Be a drunk without a drink. On the one hand, there's a lot to like about this song. I like the Western imagery in country music, and as the genre kind of remembers that side of itself, a lot of which we have Yellowstone to thank for. I like that it's not overloaded with snap tracks and drum machines, and instead it's a very spare song with a kind of scraggly vocal that has just kind of guitar, a bit of steel, and sometimes some tambourine in it. And yet the song feels a little bit to me like it's playing dress up as some kind of outlaw song. I think Luke's voice is perfectly fine, if a bit unremarkable. It has a bit of shake in it, which is interesting, but I don't know that it demonstrates some super unique, amazing tone as much as like, this is a very good looking guy that got a record deal after Yellowstone. Really though, it's the lyrics of the song that I think leave me wanting more. It's ultimately just kind of a checklist song, working to that hook of No Horse to Ride. He's saying, without you, I'm like all of these things. I'm like a drunk without a drink, a guitar with a broken string, a star without a midnight sky, or a train out of tracks. And it all builds to this idea of like, I'd be a cowboy with no horse to ride. And so in that way, it reminds me a lot of something like Going, Going, Gone by Luke Combs, where he's just listing things that are gone. It reminds me a bit of Made for You by Jake Owen, where he's saying like, this was made for this, and I was made for you. I don't think that demonstrates a huge amount of storytelling ability, and so I'm not sold yet on Luke Grimes as a country artist, or at least maybe not as a songwriter. So it kind of shocks me but I think I would give the song like a light yee nah. Jeez, Shania and Luke Grimes are my yee nahs. I'm a little bitchy, hard to please dude today, aren't I? But yeah, I'm doing it. I'm gonna speak with my chest and not censor myself. Who cares, ultimately? I'll probably decide I like the song in like a month. Then we got the viral hit from Ashley Cooke, It's Been a Year.
It's been a year since I've been back to Sarah's.
So in the last couple years, Ashley Cooke came onto the radar, first through TikTok and the 615 House. Then she signed a record deal and released that song Never Till Now with Brett Young, which had really kind of pristine wedding song vibes. And It's Been a Year is a variant in the sad direction, but it's still that very kind of clean, poppy, not especially country, but kind of reflective Ingrid Andress sound. And this is a song that kind of took off right around the new year because people were making montages about what a year it had been. And this song is kind of perfect for that because it is about the passage of a year. And it's kind of playing on that idea of someone says, it's been a year, usually meaning it's been overwhelming and it's been a tough year, but also it kind of flips that throughout the song and she kind of has the resolute reflection of growth where she's saying, it's been a year. And it's kind of fun to hear the interplay of that, like she gets broken up with, so it's been a year. But then she sees him with another girl and she's like, well, I guess it's been a year. Like it has been some time, I can maybe move on now. The song is pretty, but maybe a bit toothless, and this sound, I call it the Valley of Blah. I do think it claims a lot of artists, but a lot of people seem to like it. But man, it does not stick with me, but it's not bad. I enjoy the atmosphere the song provides. I enjoy Ashley's delivery, but it doesn't stick with me. And I think I'd just give it a yee. And then I want to finish up with the 3 songs that ERNEST dropped from his upcoming deluxe release of Flower Shops, which is going to be called Flower Shops, the album, 2 Dozen Roses. I feel like album titles lately, where we had The Last Resort, Greetings From, and now we have this ERNEST one. It's reminding me of that era of movie sequels where it's like Transformers, Rise of the Dark Moon, or whatever. And, you know, a lot of colons in the titles right now. In any case, the first song I want to talk about is Miss That Girl.
Red dirt, take me slow out to where the green grass grows.
This song has major nursery rhyme vibes to me, and I don't even mean that as a bad thing. There's something very kind of playful and Twinkle Twinkle Little Star-ish, or maybe even the Barney song of I love you, you love me, about how Miss That Girl flows. It's like a country boy's lullaby, but instead of singing about like cradles and bluebirds, he's like red dirt, take me slow. It's a very unusual melody, and I found myself a little annoyed and a little disarmed by it, which I think is a good sign. Any artist I love, I want to be like 10% annoyed by the next move that they make, because it means they're pushing themselves and their sound, and I think that's cool. At the same time, of these 3 tracks, it's probably the flimsiest in terms of like the heart that it makes you feel. But it is a cool twist on a breakup song. I would give this one a yeehaw. The other 2 tracks here are way more somber, steel-soaked country music. So if you thought it was maybe a fluke that ERNEST's first half of this album was so much more country than people expected, it doesn't seem like it, because these first 3 songs are pretty damn country, slow, tear in my beer, ballady, full of pedal steel. I mean, it's just cool. I love that Ernest K, our favorite former SoundCloud rapper, has pursued this sound. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, go watch my video about that on ERNEST from last year. The first of those songs that I'd mention is Unhang the Moon.
I wanna make you feel the way that I do.
I've noticed a bunch of references to hanging the moon lately in country music. Party had a song on his album, but in this ERNEST song, he is saying like, man, I did that for her. I tried to hang the moon and be kind of the hero of her world, and now he's a bit bitter, and he's wishing I could unhang the moon. It's like a cool mix of bitter and sad, to be honest. And I like that because that's how like breakups feel. It's not just, oh, I'm heartbroken. It's also like, I'm a little bit pissed. And I would say that's present in the lyrics, although the tone of this is a little bit more like lush and just gloomy.
All I wanna do is unhang the moon.
I really like at the end of the chorus where he's like, I wish I could unhang the moon. I hung. For You. I feel like that was a very unexpected little melodic choice and lets you kind of sit in the sadness for a minute. And it's the strings behind it that give this a really vintage feel, a little bit of that countrypolitan or Nashville sound, feeling like you're back in the 70s. I just really enjoy it. It's so different to hear on an album today. So again, I give it a yeehaw. The last song is the one that I think works the very best of these three, and I think they all work, and that's The Songs We Used to Sing.
Bunch of songs we used to sing, like old memories in
This is kind of a mix of the two sounds I'm describing. There's a bit of like that nursery rhyme, lullaby quality about the verses mixed with the lush sophistication in the chorus. And yes, if you're wondering, this is also a breakup song, and he is lamenting all the songs he feels like he can't sing anymore because they shared those memories together and now they're kind of ruined. But I love the melodic cadence on that first verse where he's like, kind of in these descending triplets for 4 bars, and then it moves to ascending triplets. He's like da 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 da. Like it's really hypnotic in a way.
whiskey don't burn like it used to. It hurts.
And then the chorus just clicks. It all just like sits in the pocket. You get the brushed drums, you get the steel, and he starts mentioning these kind of songs like Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain that he feels like she's taken from him. This is a melody that sneaks up on you, and the song just sticks with you, and I love it. So, I mean, I've now had it for almost 2 months to be listening to it, and I find myself listening to it all the time. So, of these three, I would give that one the biggest yeehaw. So there you go. There's my little catch-up single roundup for songs from the end of 2022. Like I said, we'll have another one of these very soon, and obviously, we gotta fit some hearty content in, possibly in between or possibly after. We'll see how the edits go. Anyway, thanks again to SeatGeek for sponsoring the video, and I will see y'all with more country music content very soon. Goodbye.